Hey all, it's Bennett, and I'm back. Back from what, you may ask? Well, that would be the Southeast Game Exchange. That's right, SEGE 2022, Greenville, South Carolina. Back for the second year running as a SEGE attendee, and I had a ball. Had a great time. The place was wall to wall with video games and video game related stuff in a humongous expo hall as far as the eye can see, and chock full of some of my favorite YouTubers and video game celebrities. We're talking Metal Jesus, Pat the NES Punk, Phoenix Resale. We had Retro Rick was there, LGR, Lazy Game Reviews. If you don't watch him, he's awesome. My daughter even got an autograph from the voice of Ash from the Pokemon anime. So I mean, how awesome is that? But yeah, there were all your favorite, video game YouTubers, including myself, naturally. We're right there, and everywhere you went, couldn't help run into him. So cool, and I felt like I was, in video game heaven. So highly recommend, if you get a chance to go to SEGE or a similar con, I guess, expo, one of those kind of things, definitely take advantage of those opportunities. You'll get to see amazing games and systems and collectibles that you never thought you could see, and they're all under one roof. There were all the holy grails were there, from the PlayStation 2, like Haunting Ground and Kuon and Rule of Rose were I mean, it was like everybody had a Rule of Rose. Come on, nothing. But there was even like a was it Nintendo World Championship cart, or was it maybe it was the Stadium games? I think it was Stadium Events. Excuse me. Anyway, and that one was all like sealed and graded and stuff. Not like, I think it was just a loose cart. Whatever. They wanted like $37,000 for it, which is nuts, but it was there, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, highly recommend it. You'll get to see things you never thought you could see before, and if you had the scratch, you could buy it yourself. I did not have $37,000 to spend. I didn't really go in with a budget. I just kind of said, you know what, we're gonna see what we can find to help fill out the old collection, and pick up some things that I used to have back in the day, back in my old collection that I don't know whatever became of. So things that I wanted to bring back home, and other stuff that I just needed in the collection. That's the most important thing. I needed it. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we got. After marching up and down the aisles for quite some time, I feel like I probably took an entire lap of weaving in and out of every aisle before I opened my wallet at all. I found this here complete copy of Friday the 13th for the NES. This is the infamous Friday the 13th. If you're a AVGN fan, you're all too familiar with this. I already had a loose copy of this. I can prove it because it's right here. But yeah, I wanted to get the complete copy because I'm a big Friday the 13th fan, and not necessarily of the game, but the series and Jason and all that good stuff. So as a horror hound, got to represent the so now with this and the Nightmare on Elm Street that I picked up last year at SEGE, complete. Now I've got the LJN NES slasher collection, I guess, taken care of. So I was super stoked. To that point, I also needed to pick up the NECA figure of 8-bit Jason to go with the 8-Bit Freddy that I have from years back when it wasn't crazy expensive. And I actually saw one of those at SEGE, and they wanted like $150 for it, so I was like, I'll pass. But got me Friday 13th complete, and I'll be able to, sell the one I just showed you to get a little bit of this money back. Oh, they wanted 120. I asked if there was any wiggle room, so I got it down to 110. It's not the greatest price in the world, but it's a very clean box, very good looking copy of the game. And if I can open it up without tearing anything, I will show you that. There we go. Interestingly, let's see, there's the game. It had two copies of the manual. So that's weird, but yeah, so I'll be able to pair one of those copies of the manual with the game when I sell it, and it'll sell for a little bit more. So I get more of my $110 back, and going down the road now, I'll have complete Friday the 13th for a pretty decent price. But I think this experience if you're anything like me. But once you've broken the seal, opened the wallet, forked out a little cash, when you're faced with temptation on all sides and games galore and everything like that, the floodgates were ready to open up. So moving on, we picked up. This is a weird choice for some of y'all because it's clearly a bad game, but I just saw somebody talking about it, possibly on I think it was Matt McMuscles even was talking about it. Anyway, and I had to pick it up. Fight Club. Don't be an idiot like me. Fight Club. And it's complete for the original Xbox. This is the only game where you can solve the age-old conundrum of who would win in a fight between Abraham Lincoln and Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. My money's on Honest Abe. And frankly, that's exactly the same thing that Matt McMuscles was saying, so I'm not saying anything new. Anyway, but yeah, Fight Club is probably terrible. I paid the full $9 for it because it was, there was a kid running the booth. It was fine. But I needed it for the collection, or, needed it. And we move on. I found another booth that had gobs and gobs of, they had gobs of games, and they also had gobs of manuals, like in little things that you could shuffle through and pick out which ones you want. Problem with this particular booth was almost everything was unpriced, which means that you pick out the stuff you're interested in and then ask the lady, and she looks it up on price charting, and you go from there. So it was not ideal. I much prefer just price your dang stuff. Come on, don't be lazy, and don't be irritating. Help the customer out by showing us what we can expect to pay. But anyway, all that is to say, was scraping together a nice stack of manuals, which I had a list of manuals that I needed for my NES collection mostly, and some other manuals and stuff too. But anyway, so to fill in some gaps that I have, so now I have the Turtles 2 the arcade game for the NES manual. We got 8 Eyes, which, I don't... it's up there somewhere. It's on the NES shelf, and I didn't have the manual for it. I don't know squadoosh about the game, but now I got the manual. This is for Maniac Mansion. It's kind of a poster, and I don't know if there's a more real manual that's also available, but I didn't have the poster. At least I don't think I had the poster. Anyway, paid up to get that at least. So I may still need a manual, and it's possible that I have 2 posters now. But we'll see. And then we have Tag Team Wrestling for the NES, which is a game I just recently picked up, and it didn't have the manual, so now we do. And we have The Adventures of Bayou Billy, which I love to say it like that. And yep, have been needing the manual for that. And finally, Super Mario Brothers 2, a little game you guys have probably heard of. And now my Super Mario Brothers 2 is complete. And it is probably there somewhere. So, yeah. Those, a couple of those were like, you know, it was like $5 for Bayou Billy, and for the 8 Eyes maybe, and like Turtles 2 I think was like $20 or something. So anyway, with these 6 items, I ended up paying like $70. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Which kind of hurt, but it was directly from price charting prices, so I couldn't like fault them too much for asking that much, but still, it was not great. But it was made up for, that feeling was made up for by what I got at another booth right nearby. And I'll show you what that is right now. First, I have these 2 items. One is Gauntlet, the Tengen Gauntlet. Is there a non-Tengen Gauntlet? I don't remember. But yeah, for the NES, and yeah, good old Gauntlet. Blue Warrior is about to die and all that stuff, and it is complete with manual and all that stuff. And they were asking $20 for it, which is, you know, an okay price. But they also had Wolverine Adamantium Rage, which is a game that I just spent the last couple of months trying to complete. Like, I had the box for it, and then was searching everywhere and doing all sorts of wheeling and dealing, trying to get a cart for it for not very much. And so yeah, I just recently got the box and the cartridge. No manual, I think, in the one I have currently. But at any rate, they wanted $50 for this, and it's complete. The manual is even in here. It's in there. It's one of these things. Come on. Yeah. Wolverine, Adamantium Rage. And so yeah, they had $50 on there, and I was like, well, knowing what I know about from my time of trying to complete a copy of this, the price starting kind of going rate on this is like $150, $175 or something. So I was like, yeah, let me just pick that up, and then I'll be able to sell it back into the world and keep the manual, but like sell the rest of it back into the world and pay down a good chunk of, you know, what I paid for some of this other stuff. So if I can take this $50 game and sell it for $125 maybe, you know, I'll be sitting pretty. So that's pretty cool. I couldn't pass that up. Oh, and not only that, but I'd, you know, not letting on that this was a really good price for this game. I was like, you know, any wiggle room you can give me for this. So with 2 of these, we did $60 cash together. Sorry for the glare. But yeah, so I thought that was a really good deal. So kind of made up for the wallet ache of the manuals a little bit, to have something that I actually can, you know, flip back out there in the world. You don't usually find things to flip at expos. I mean, these are the people who know what games are going for, and they're pretty smart about this sort of thing. So caught somebody slipping. You never know. All right, that was day 1. It was a relatively small stack of things from day 1, but I was very excited to get them, you know, especially getting that complete Friday the 13th. And yep, so went home, or not home, but went back to the hotel for the night and took a bunch of Advil and conked out and went back at it the next day. So let's see what we got there. You know, when I got to the expo, I got a call from my bank, and they said I had not spent nearly enough money on the first day, so I had to step up my game, and so let's just get down to it. Yeah, so we found at one booth we got Tekken Advance with the manual. This will fill a box that I have for Tekken Advance. I think I already have the manual anyway, but whatever. Regardless, now I have the game, manual, box, good to go on the old GBA shelf. They wanted 20 for it. It by itself it's usually like 15, which is, so with the manual it's pretty decent little price. Moving on, we got Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. This is the second Buffy game, and this is for the Xbox, and I already had the first one, but not this second one. So here we are. And I found several copies around the expo, but this was like the only one that had the manual, and that wasn't priced at like $50. This they wanted 30, which the price charting says 25, so that's not too far off. Next we have Death Smiles, which is an awesome shooter for the Xbox 360. Again, I already have a loose copy of the game. This has the game and the soundtrack CD. It's upside down, but that's what that says right there. But I have a loose copy of the game, and it's a lot of fun. So I was now glad to get a box and manual and all that, and soundtrack CD, and I'll be able to sell off my loose copy of the game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the big box version that is really cool and a great big box, but them's the breaks. I was real happy to pick this up instead. And they wanted 35 for it, so that's not too far off the mark either. And finally from that stop was Stubbs the Zombie for the Xbox. This is not sealed, it just still has the little sticker thing on there. And this is a game I've wanted since the Xbox days, since it was out. And again, they had it for 50. The price charting says about 45 to 50 is pretty good. This is really clean copy and has the manual. Again, most of the copies I found did not have the manual. So what's with y'all people losing your manuals? Come on, keep it together. Anyway, all that is together, added up to 20, 30 is 50. Another 50 is 100. Plus 35 is 135, and I got them to bring it down to 120, which is a pretty decent little discount too. So not a particularly huge discount altogether, but definitely in a good place for the going rate for those games. Good prices for them, great copies of the game, complete, and I'm excited to have them in the collection. Now, speaking of Xbox, we found another booth and I just picked up a couple of random ones. We had 187 Ride or Die for $15, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for the low price of $5 on the Xbox. These are again both complete. Crouching Tiger has a cracked case, but I can probably replace that. Yep. So just more stuff to add to the Xbox collection. Neither of them are Xbox exclusives or anything like that necessarily, but they're just kind of, let's see what was going on in I don't know, what was it, 2002 or whatever year these came out. So just adding to the Xbox collection. I think I have 187 Ride or Die on PS2. Whatever. I'm collecting for Xbox, doggone it, so let's just keep that. That's fine. Yeah, that's where I've been lately. Okay, so yeah, moving on. We went to another booth. This was just kind of a regular schmegular set of games. Nothing too fancy or expensive or anything. Just a lot of shelf fillers and things like that. But that was okay. I found some cool stuff there anyway. So what caught my eye at this particular booth were Star Wars Masters of Terraskasi. Terraskasi. I think it's Terraskasi, which has been canonized lately in Solo and one of the TV shows and everything. So pretty cool. This game is supposed to be awful. It's been on all those bad game shows on the old YouTube and all that stuff, but I have been looking for it, and it looked pretty cool to me, so it was $18. It's in a good case. Everything is fine and dandy with it. Black label. I don't know if there is a Platinum Hits version of this, but I mean a Greatest Hits version, green label thing, but whatever. It's the black label. It's complete, and I'm glad to have it in the collection. Now I can have Luke Skywalker throwing his lightsaber at Princess Leia for some reason, or Han Solo shooting Greedo. Does Greedo show up in here? Anyway, good stuff. The Star Wars fighting game, the infamous Star Wars fighting game, I'm glad to have as part of the collection. Now, the other things I found were Gretzky Hockey for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I see what you're saying here. Is that a sealed game? No, it's not. Not really. Much like some games I picked up recently at Second and Charles, there's no H seam, so there's no seam line right here, which is like a dead giveaway for a reseal for an NES game. If there are any non-H seam NES games, I would imagine it might be some of the like Bible games or something, but the non-licensed ones. But regular licensed Nintendo games, so reseal. But that's fine. Complete copy of Wayne Gretzky Hockey, which is a not super common sports title. And this is the black shirt variant. There's apparently a white shirt variant as well to be on the lookout for. So I don't know which one is worth more. I think probably the white shirt is rarer, but because I found the black one. But whatever. Anyway, complete game. I looked it up. It was in the right price ballpark, or rink, I guess. So glad to have another complete NES game to add to the pile. And speaking of, we have Kings of the Beach, also for the NES. Box has seen better days, but it actually still has the hang tag, which is a cool little thing. Unfortunately, it's also, I mean, it's toe up. It's just not in great condition, but it was $15, and I got all those together. It was like, what, 30, 15, and 18, so that's 50. I think I got everything for like 50, 30, 15 is 45, and 18, 50, 60 something. I don't know. I think I paid 50 for the three, which is pretty decent. So I loved Kings of the Beach, excuse me. I do have a loose copy of it. It's right here on the shelf. I know you want to see it. For proof, I have, nice. This is pre-played video game. But now I have a boxed copy, even though the box is kind of crap. But that's okay. We're gonna put it in a protector. It'll be fine. And yeah, I used to love this game. I played it all the time, and I think I'm looking forward to getting back and see if I still have my my beach volleyball chops. Anyway, there you go. But it clearly does not have a manual. It says there right there, no manual. So I had to remedy that, and there's only one way to remedy that. That was to go back to the people who had to go like look up every price on price charting for the manuals. But sure enough, they had Kings of the Beach for the NES, but they had something else that was interesting that I did not expect to see, and so I went ahead and snatched it up. And actually, they looked at the price. Anyway, and that would be the manual for Battletoads Double Dragon. Battlefield 1 Double Dragon Toads. Yes, Battletoads Double Dragon for the NES, which is a game I have in my glass case, but it lacked a manual, so I had to pay up to get this one. It was $50, which is, again, painful, but I looked it up on price charting. That's what it goes for, so I can't really blame them too much. But I did get them to throw in the Kings of the Beach for free, so that's better than nothing, I suppose. But yeah, I'm glad to complete Battletoads Double Dragon, as far as it being complete in box, not complete the game, because all those games are really hard. So I made that little purchase transaction there, and then started to leave their booth, and then I noticed something else that they had that I had not spotted before, and it's something that was one of the few things on my list that I really wanted to make sure I came home with, and that was a complete copy of Final Fantasy, the original, for the NES. Gosh, this glare is awful. It's because of the protective box. Anyway, Final Fantasy, the original. This is a really nice looking copy. It's in the protector box, which is, great. I was gonna put it in one anyway, so save me the trouble. And it is as complete as can be. It's like, bulging at the seams with all the stuff, the game, the manual, and the maps. So here we go. I used to have this as a kid. I remember renting it and loving it, and then buying it and playing it all the time. I played through, with a balanced party of like a fighter and a thief or whatever, and a white mage and a black mage, and then I would like play through with all red mages, or 2 fighters and 2 mages. I would play through it over and over again. It's just a fantastic game. Obviously it's some things are gonna feel kind of old when you go back to them, like the battle system and everything, and having to, the way you select items and stuff has been streamlined over the years and all that stuff. But regardless, it's a great game. It's obviously a humongously influential game, and I'm excited to have it back in the collection. Where did my original copy go? No one can say. There. But anyway, Final Fantasy, and it's got the manual, and it's got the maps. This map, like the overworld map, and then this is what, like the dungeon map, I think. And when I was inspecting everything, I noticed that there were some markings on this. I think it's even in pen, so that's kind of a bummer. But somebody was like, "No, don't go in here, don't go in here, don't go in here." Yeah, not Wayne's World, not. Yeah. So I pointed that out to the person. They looked it up, obviously, on price charting, and price charting said about $140, which is exactly the price I had in mind the whole time I was at the expo. So I was fine with that. But then when I looked at the map, I was like, that's a little unfortunate. And they said, okay, well, maybe we'll do 130, and so sold. So super glad to pick up a super complete copy of this amazing game, and maybe I'll be back on it before you know it. Yes, it really is just one of the best. All right, we'll close that up later. Okay, we move on to another game that I was looking for kind of the whole time, and found actually across the aisle from where I found Final Fantasy. And this was good old Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. Again, where is my copy that I had, from the day it came out? I don't know. I went to Toys R Us to pick it up. I got the, it came with, new with the Killer Cut CD. Now, I do still have the Killer Cut CD. I'm 99% sure I can lay my hands on it. If I find it, you'll see it right here. Yep. So this has no CD, but that was fine with me because I already have mine. So they wanted $80 for it, which again is right kind of at the upper range of what you should be paying for this. But it was a good complete copy and looked clean and good. I'm not gonna open it up. It's all there except the CD. So yeah, I was super stoked to get a hold of that. again, it was one of the few things I actually intended to make sure I get a copy of. It was like Final Fantasy, Killer Instinct, and I can't think of anything else that was really like a must-have that I actually wound up finding. I think there were a few things that I kind of wanted to find that I didn't find, but Hulk Ultimate Destruction for the Xbox. That I wanted to bring home. I found several copies, but none of them have the manual. Or if they did, they were like ridiculous amount of money. It should be like $20. So, oh well, another time. But yep, Killer Instinct, killer game. Had to pick it up. And while I was there, I was like, what else do you have around? And found Taboo, The Sixth Sense for the NES complete. They wanted $25 dues for it. And this is like the most non-game game you're gonna find. It's a fortune teller device where you like you tell it what your name is, and it tells your fortune. It uses like tarot cards and stuff like that. So it's in my feverish buying frenzy, I was like, a game I remember vaguely being aware of back in the day, complete for $25. Yes! And bring it home. It was like, that's the only thing that I come close to regretting. It's like, but that's another NES game to add to the shelf. I love it. So $25 complete, Taboo. And also at the same booth we had Virtua Fighter Kids. You remember all your Virtua Fighter beat 'em up pals? Well, here they are in kid form. Yes, and this is for the Sega Saturn, and it is in pretty decent condition. The boxes of these things usually just slap apart, so this one keeping together. Manuals here, obviously. There's no cracks that I noticed. Somehow I even got it home without cracking it myself. These things are like fragile like eggshells. It is ridiculous, but anyway. Experience the killer gameplay of Virtua Fighter 2 packed into a pint-sized punch. It's 20% faster than Virtua Fighter 2. Real-time instant replays. Amazing special moves, customized characters with the make your own combos mode. Hidden secrets await the true Virtua Fighter master. Yay. So, Virtua Fighter Kids. This is another one I've seen on, I think that I saw this on Sega Lord X's channel about the fighting games on the Saturn. So this was kind of on my short list of something to find. They're asking $50 for it. Again, these prices they know what the deal is. The prices at most of the booths were pretty much on par with price starting. But so $50 here and $80 here was $130, and another $25 would be $155. And I asked if there was any wiggle room, and anyway, they ended up giving it to me all three for $130, meaning that I got Taboo for free. So it wasn't a complete waste of money. But it was fun. All right, and finally, found a booth that, as the day was going by, I was walking by and they're like, "Hey, dude, come over and let's make some deals. We're trying to sell off some stuff." And I was talking to the guy for a minute, and they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to clear out everything we can, and if you got cash, we'll make you a killer deal and all this." And I said, "Well, let me see what you got." And as it happened, this was the booth that had that Friday the 13th figure for $150 that I talked about earlier. Only, well, I don't have the sticker on it now. I don't know where the sticker went, but there it is. They had marked it down to $80. Sticker's around here somewhere for proof, because I know you need that. They had it marked at $150 the day before, and they had it marked for $80 at the second day. And I was like, now we're talking. And grabbed that up and looked around in their case. First of all, how cool is this? Goes right along with the newly acquired NES game. It's right over here. I hope I don't knock stuff over. Yes. Match Made in Heaven, or that other place. And not only that, but this makes authentic, the authentic theme music. Let's try that again. I think maybe the authentic theme music has seen better days. Or, I mean, I haven't played the game in a while. It may be more accurate to the NES game than you might think. But yeah, how cool is that? 8-bit Jason. Okay, shut it. Hush. Alright, you and your friends are dead. Game over. And it even has the hang tag, so that's pretty cool too. So yeah, pick that up. They now wanted $80 for it. Now it's much more in line with what I wanted to look at, because it's usually well over $100 anywhere that I've seen it. And I looked around at what else they have in their booth, and rounded out things with Ikaruga on GameCube. I don't know if I'm saying that right. GameCube? Gamakube? Yeah, Ikaruga on Gamakube. And yes, it is complete. Things look great. And they wanted $100 for it, which I haven't looked up in a while. I know this is one of the more expensive games, but it's not like the Gotcha Force kind of expensive. So I feel like $100 is kind of the going rate, more or less. And Swords and Serpents for the NES, complete for 30 big dollar dues. This is a up to 4-player like dungeon crawl RPG that is probably not very good, but at least it's pretty cool. And it has some dope like Boris Vallejo or one of those kind of guys art on the front. And yeah, so I was able to pick out these items. You got your aforementioned Jason here, plus Ikaruga and Swords and Serpents. It was like 80 plus 100 is 180, plus 30 is 210. And they said, all right, if you do cash, we could go calculate 170. And I said, I was thinking more in the lines of 150. And they said, okay, let's do it. So conveniently, that was literally every single dollar I had in my wallet. So they cleaned me out. But I had just enough to pick up some really cool stuff for the collection. Yeah, and I had a great time doing it. Oh, and before I forget, there was one more purchase. So I went to the booth where Pat, the NES punk, was selling his books and other stuff. I had met him the day before. He was wearing a mask that had basically the same pattern as a Pac-Man shirt. So we bonded. We're best buds. I'm going to go over his house later on to play some Swords and Serpents. And he said I was the 4th best YouTuber that he knows. So, yeah. Then bought his enormous tome, The Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the NES Library. Good heavens, this thing, it weighs like as much as 3 school buses, I swear. But it is wall-to-wall, page after page of NES goodness, with reviews and discussion on every single game in the NES library, including like some crazy nonsense like I just saw the Zombie Nation guy, is that what that's called? Yeah. And some other like foreign releases and the like unlicensed stuff and test carts. It's all in here. I don't want to open it up because I don't want to like break the spine at this particular moment. Also because it's gonna break my spine if I try and hold it like that anymore. But yeah, so yeah, and it was signed by Mr. Pat Country himself, the NES Punk. So I couldn't believe how cool that was, and I was real stoked to meet him, ever so briefly, and some of the other folks that I met, like Metal Jesus and John Riggs and LGR and the Sarah Natacheni, something like that, who was the voice of Ash. So cool. Just an amazing event. I'm exhausted but thrilled with the entire experience, and I will definitely be back next time and the next time and the next time. And I hope you will be too. And with any luck, I'll actually be going off to another expo in just a couple of days. That would be the Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta, which is not very far away from me at all. So I have plans to go there. It's more like it's not so much a big wall-to-wall sales floor of hot video game items, but it's more about gaming itself. So like there's a lot more arcade games and pinball games, and there are tons and tons of like tabletop game related things and so on, in addition to the video game stuff they have. So super stoked to give that another go, and if everything goes as planned, I'll be there in just a few days, so I'll let you know how that goes. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate everybody who's commenting and liking these videos. It's really very exciting to see, and I hope you'll stick with me for the next one. Thanks again. Y'all have a good one.